Welcome to Beyond Our Focus. I'm Stefan, this is Amanda, and this is Breaking Prisms, where we go over the Twilight Zone and Black Mirror. There's a little piece of hair or something. Today is Black Mirror Season 3, Episode 6. It is also February 19th. Hope everyone had a good Valentine's Day. Don't know. Today's episode is called Hated in the Nation, and it's a long one. It's an hour and a half. This is pretty legitly just a full-length movie. Alrighty. I will say, I don't remember, you mentioned the actress's name.
I didn't know her name. All I know is that as soon as she appeared on the screen, I was like, she's from Boardwalk Empire. And then as soon as she started talking, I was like, she also plays the voice of Merida from Brave.
And that would be the main girl, Karen?
Yes. Karen.
Okay. Not Blue.
Not Blue.
Not Blue. What a nice name. What an interesting name.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we do open up on her.
Yes, and that's my first note, is I literally wrote down Boardwalk Empire, and then I said pretty sure, and then I said hit also the voice of Merida from Brave. But yes, she's sitting outside in a hallway, just kind of picking at her coffee cup. Just staring anxiously.
I pulled up, and you look at you being all fancy and correct. Also, No Country for Old Men. Oh, I saw Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, she was married to Wreck-It Ralph as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes sense. The Child in Time. So she's been in stuff. She's been, of course, Black Mirror. Yeah. And there's Boardwalk Empire from 2010 to 2014. Yes. So yeah, she's been around.
Yeah, you still put her name though.
Her actual name? Well, you don't need that. God, it's too much. Kelly MacDonald.
Okay. She's very, very much Irish? Irish.
Of course, you would have that name. That's funny. There's also the gentleman from Doctor Strange. Okay. And what's funny is his first name is Benedict.
Nice.
Benedict Wong. And then you have Benedict Cumberbatch. That's interesting. I don't think of Benedict to be a very
popular,
super popular name, but they happen to both be in the same movie, and that's cool. So yes, Benedict Wong, the gentleman who played, I don't even know the guy's name in Doctor Strange.
Oh, that's a good one.
Doctor Strange. He played Wong.
I'm done.
Yeah. He played Wong. His last name is Wong. He played a character named Wong.
And a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch.
All right. What do you know?
Welcome to Breaking Prisms, where
strange and coincidental things.
We just break open all the doors.
All right. Like you said, we start with Karen.
We don't know her name yet, but yes.
We find out very soon enough that her name is Karen. No point of beating around the bush. Her name is Karen.
We don't find that out until she meets Blue.
That doesn't matter. That's like 2 scenes from now. We might as well say her name is Karen. So she gets brought into what looks to be like a courtroom.
Yes. And they ask her to describe the events that happened.
Last May 15th.
Yes. So then we branch into the 15th of May.
Yes.
Day 1.
Her getting home and having groceries and deciding against everything and eating Pringles instead.
Yeah.
You know what? That sounds about right. I agree with this. I'm all right with that.
Reads the TV dinner and is like, nah, we're good.
I don't even feel like doing that. These Pringles, though? She had a whole drawer full of Pringles. I mean, it's regular occurrence.
Yeah, choices. I don't know what... She turned on her lights, I think it was, and for some reason it reminded me of the sound a Wii remote makes.
I don't know.
It's like, doo-doot.
And then we go into, she turns on the news.
Yes. And we learn that... What is it?
20,000 people signed a petition to sack Joe Powers over an article about Gwen Marbury.
Wow, getting all fancy this time around.
Yeah. Well, I took note of that. I thought it was interesting. we have killed out, or moves over to a crane. The last of a crane species has died. And then it moves over to the final notable story. The honeybee mimicking drone, ADIs, have been activated for the second summer.
Yes, and then we get a little nice view of these little bees. And they look exactly like a regular bee, but you can just hear that mechanical little zzz.
Yeah, so they're little bees, little mechanical bees, helping pollinate. This episode is very much based off our honeybee.
Yes. If the bees die out, the world collapses.
More so.
Yeah.
This is taking the honeybee thing to a little more extreme. We are having legit issues with honeybee in general, but this is taking it to the point like, we're having extraordinary issues, and a company steps in to fix that.
Yes, by making drones.
Little drones.
Okay. So then we move forward. Wait.
We start following a woman.
Is that when we start?
That's my very next thing. It goes from the news to following a woman.
Oh. So she must have watched the other thing on the news. Okay. Because my next one is about, what's his name? Tusk.
That's definitely further. That's definitely further along than. Because yes, we switch over to a woman who is getting some little stares and different things, and then as she gets closer to the house, someone calls her a bee, and we found out very shortly after this. This is she goes to go up to her home, and then a van pulls up, and it's like, what is this? And it's like, what is this? Is it going to poison me?
No, she literally said, "Is anything in that box going to detonate?"
Or there you go.
Yeah, and he just looks at her as like, "It's just a cake."
It's just a cake. So her name is Joe Powers, the girl in the news who people want to get sacked.
Yes. So she.
If you don't like something, go ahead. Just everyone sign a petition. That's always solves everything.
Yeah, and so. Here she is. She knows she's hated by everyone. People are openly talking about her in the street, and suddenly she gets a cake.
A cake, which we open up. She gets inside. She opens up, and it says, "You effing bee."
Yes.
So yeah. To which she decides immediately, we're gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it.
Well, the thing is that she has the box. Her husband is like, "Hey, are you home?" And then walks over and sees it. And he's like, "Oh, that's lovely." And she's just starts cutting into it. He's like, you shouldn't eat that. It could be poison." And she's like, "It's a cake. It's meant to be eaten."
Yep.
And then just
goes about it because why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And to which she starts looking on the internet.
Yes.
Or internet comments and basically Twitter.
Yeah, it's just one giant news feed, and just everybody just.
It's definitely Twitter. Not called Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Because it's not used for positive things in this show.
No.
So I don't think Twitter would sign off on it.
But yes, it's literally just her picture off to the side, and then streams of people just. Yeah, we hate her. She should die. You need to die. Go jump off a bridge. Go hang yourself. And then hashtag death to Joe Powers.
So I didn't see the hashtag at the beginning. I wasn't looking for it either. And then we kind of just pan away from a little bit, and you see the windows cracked a little bit, and we leave this scene. And we're back to Cop Lady. Or back to Karen. Watching the TV about a dancer, Tusk.
Yes. Who... It looks like he's pretty much on a talk show, but they show him a video of this young boy who wants to be just like them, and he's doing a dance, and he's dressed like him, wearing almost the exact same outfit the guy's sitting in right there. He's doing this dance, he's trying his heart out, and the guy's literally like, he needs to not, like, he just needs to stop. He obviously can't do it.
Yeah, good old Tusk, not a nice fella.
No.
Very cruel to this kid who just wants to emulate him because he's a celebrity, he's popular, and
he's pretty much like, that was horrible. He needs to never do it again.
Exactly. He should just give up now.
Yes.
To which they kind of pan backstage where they had the kid. Looks like they were going to bring him out
Yeah.
and do a whole thing. But that's not going to happen now.
No.
He just had his idol just completely down him.
Yeah, I literally just wrote encouragement cast, and I said, what a dick.
So, yeah. So far, we went from a lady who wrote some kind of... they don't ever get like super detailed about what the article was, but it was very not positive about...
How do you do with disability rights?
Disability rights of something, maybe with transit or something. I can't remember exactly.
I don't remember.
But they don't ever go deep into it.
No.
But it was everyone called it a hit piece, just a clickbait, just trash. And then we move over to Tusk, who's downing and dissing this kid.
Literally, we have two horrible people.
Yes, we have two people. Not very good. So, Karen's watching TV. She gets a call. She gets up, gets in her little fancy vehicle, and heads to a crime scene.
Yes. To which this is the first time we realize she is a police officer.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, officially.
Yes.
She's a police officer, or probably more like a detective of some sort.
An investigator.
Yes.
But yes.
So she gets there and immediately is met by Blue.
Yes. Just this blonde chick walks up and asks a question and she's like, no, you can't do that right now. And she's like, I'm not from the press. I'm your shadow.
I'm your shadow. Like, okay, shadow. I understand that. I can get what that terminology would mean.
And so then...
So they go into the crime scene, to which we very quickly discovered this was Joe Power's place. So, dun dun dun.
Yeah. I literally wrote, that's a lot of blood. Because it's like, even before they get into the room, they're walking, and you can just see blood splattered across the wall.
Yeah, a lot of blood going on here. It was very violent.
Yes.
Good old Joe Powers on the ground. Her throat has been slit.
See, that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, her throat was slit. I'm like, no, a slit. The definition of a slit is a tiny...
Would you like slashed better?
Yes. It literally looks like her throat was clawed out by an animal. But everyone's like, oh, she slit her throat. Oh, she cut her throat. No.
Well,
something tore her up.
Well, she tore her up.
They don't know that.
No, that's not their first suspicion at all.
No.
What was it? Karen checks the window.
Yes.
It's like, oh, some kind of safety bolt's in place, so no one came in through here.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of looking around. Blue
Immediately goes over to the computer.
Yeah, that's what she does. And they look over this. They said the husband had been slashed, or he's in the hospital or something because he'd been cut.
Yeah, he had been pretty much cut across the stomach, so he was in the hospital. And I think they said he was pretty much temporarily unconscious. He was knocked out.
Yeah, because he wasn't doing particularly well himself.
Yeah. So they would question him when he woke up. Mm-hmm. But Karen puts full pressure on the fact that she thinks it's him and it's going to be him.
Yeah. So they leave, and apparently Blue doesn't have a driver's license. Of all things. Like, really? You just don't have it, huh? So Karen gives her a ride home.
Yes.
And then we'll proceed the rest of the show to give her rides. I guess it was their cool way of saying, oh, this would be a good way to keep the characters in the same vehicle together so we can get them around together so they're together at all times. So
pretty much.
Carry on the plot. A little easier.
But one thing I did note was before this happened, Blue, of course, is looking at the computer. It's doing its ding thing still. Even as Joe Powers is laying on the ground, the comments are still flooding in, but there are starting to be comments that are like, oh, hey, there's police outside Joe Powers' house, and wonder what happened, blah, 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 blah. And it was just weird because there's another character that comes into play, Nick. This is like one of the first times we see Nick, and he kind of gives her a weird look. And I just wrote that down, that they just weird looks, because she's just sitting at the computer and he kind of just looks at her and then just walks off. And I'm like, I don't know. Everybody's weirding me out right now. You're all suspicious.
So, on the way to drop good old Blue off, we learned a little bit more about her, that she used to be, of course, Miss Tech Savvy. She used the computer. She's the one who got the cell phones and computers from crime scenes afterwards and helped crack them and find out what was on them. And So apparently she was the one who cracked some huge case.
Yes, she, the first thing she said, like, she was talking about digital forensics and how she got into it, and that she said that she was holding her phone and she's like, these things absorb us. And I thought that was a really cool way to put it. And then, yes, she said she broke the Rannick case and found his souvenir folder, which apparently this was a huge pedophile, rapist, murderous guy.
Yeah, not good stuff.
No. So she found all of that, and Karen's like, so what? You joined us to just get out there and, actually be able to do something about it? And
yeah, Karen's not particularly kind about this or any of this.
Well, no, because she was like, oh, so you pretty much came out here so that you felt you could do something instead of just sitting there. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. And then she's like, oh, well, you're still young.
Yeah, you're still young. Or maybe you're just old.
Yeah.
Which they don't look that big a difference in age.
Not really, but yes, she's very cynical about her job, and Blue is still very open to it, wanting to make a difference.
Yes.
So we get to, let's see. I have rear patio. So are they looking at all the cameras from the...
Yes, we go back to I think it's like the next day, and we follow Karen back into the police station, and Blue's already there looking at cameras.
That's right. Yeah, she seems very surprised, and not in the best way, that Blue is already there looking through stuff with Nick, and...
Well, I think Karen, once again, has already made up her mind. It's going to be the husband.
Well, I also think it was the fact that, Karen is leading this investigation, yet, her new tech-savvy shadow is just going off and getting there early, starting work without her, and Nick's helping her. So, because she does mention that to him a little bit later, because she's like, oh, well, you seem to be quite helpful. Of course, he uses different wording, but he's like, hey, you're just doing what I can.
Mm-hmm.
I think she said something like, oh, you're being very accommodating. But yes, they're looking at the cameras, and one of the cameras has been broken.
Yes, it's through the back patio.
Yeah.
It's broken. Also, it's like, oh, maybe someone could have come through there. It's like, she uses very particular words. It's not maybe, but it's maybe, but a lesser chance of it's physically or humanly possible that someone could have done it. She's very fixed on the husband.
Yes, she pretty much says, but in most cases like this, it's going to be the person already inside the home.
Yes. So, my next thing is they're going to the hospital because husband's up with an alibi.
Yes.
So they're going to go meet him and see what he has to say. Because we already know it's got to be him.
Yeah,
can't be no one else. So we get there and... Well, he's definitely been slashed. He's laying in the hospital bed. You see giant, bandage across him, up here. And it's yeah, but you ain't doing well.
No. And he proceeds to try to tell them what's going on.
Yes, what he perceived to happen.
Yes. And so he pretty much... He was doing his own... He was upstairs, he was upstairs because earlier he had said he was going to go take a bath. So he was upstairs and heard her. So he came downstairs and is pretty much walks into the room and just sees her just pretty much in agony.
Yes, she's gripping her head, talking about, I don't remember, pain or something.
Yeah.
But at some point, slams her own head against the desk.
Yes.
I I don't know. She has, because it looked like the wine bottle.
Yeah.
Had the wine bottle and was, I don't know,
well,
delirious.
What he said had happened is she had slammed her head down, so he ran over to try to help her. She shoved him, and then he said, "I think that must have been when the wine glass broke." And next thing I know, she's grabbing a piece and just cutting at her head.
He tried to stop her. She slashed him. And then she's
just
slashed her own throat.
Much better. Much better.
Which, of course, in the end, sounds like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what happened. I'm sure that's exactly what she did. There's no way this went any other way. It has to be that.
So, of course, they're like nodding, everything like that, and Karen pretty much still just doesn't. She's still set.
She thinks it's the husband. Of course, Blue does not think it's the husband. So, after a little talking, they're like, "Well, let's go see who sent the cake."
Yes.
Let's go talk to the person who sent the cake. It's like, well, if you don't think it's them, why are we doing it? Well, we're following leads, and you'll find out that following dead-end leads is most of the job, or something along those lines.
Pretty much. Once again, being very cynical about what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down that the actress looked familiar, but I didn't look into it.
The lady who sent the cake?
Yeah.
I would agree with you, but I do not know.
I couldn't think if I had seen her from another show or from this show, maybe a different episode. She just looked really, really familiar. But anyway, while he's looking up that, pretty much they end up at an elementary school. Was it elementary or preschool?
She played Doctor Who. 2 episodes of Doctor Who.
I wonder if she was, how old?
It doesn't tell you. It just says 2 episodes. She played Rosa Parks / Abby Lerner.
No, that doesn't mean anything to me.
I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't tell you which episode.
Well, I mean, I assume unless she played I don't know, like a young Rosa Parks, like an actual Rosa Parks, but.
Trying to see if any actual interest here, but not a whole lot. She's a video game character.
Oh, that's not helpful.
4 episodes of Sherlock.
Oh.
Sergeant Sally Donovan.
Oh, was she the one that was always with the guy that was really, really cynical of Sherlock, and Sherlock always told him to, he couldn't be in the same room as him as when he was conducting his...
Maybe, I'm not sure. It just says Sergeant Sally Donovan, 4 episodes. So...
I'm wondering if that's her. Because it was the pair of them that were always against Sherlock, and then when we got to the point where Sherlock was being accused of everything, she was going around going, I know it. I knew it the entire time. One of the first times she meets Sherlock, he pretty much deducts that she was staying over at the other guy's house and that she borrowed his deodorant and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's why she never liked Sherlock. It's pretty much right off the bat. Pretty sure that's her, and that would make sense as to why she's familiar.
A little bit more familiar. I've actually seen her in Sherlock. Sherlock's great. But yeah, so we get there. We're at a elementary school. And she's a teacher, and they start questioning her about it. And well, she didn't pay for the cake. She said, well, that's an expensive cake. Why'd you pay for such an expensive cake? I'm like, well, I didn't really pay for it. She crowdfunded the cake.
Everybody threw in £1. And it was an $80 cake?
Yeah, something like that.
Because they said 80 people had to have signed or thrown into this thing. I'm like, an $80 cake? I mean, it was really pretty.
But a little too much.
Especially
just the right effing B on it.
Jeez, if that was the case, I would be like, oh, yep, I'm eating it.
So, yeah, there's not much more of this lady. I mean, it's just she did this thing, and they give her a warning of some sort, a fake warning that means nothing.
Yeah, so they pretty much, they give her a rough time and she's like, I swear I didn't do this. It wasn't just me anyways. I think that's when she mentions the site or whatever, people like everybody hates her and stuff like that. And you're like,
Yes, because back at the police station, Blue had found something that she had tweeted.
Yes.
That said, "Death to Joe Powers."
Yes.
And she's like, "Well, you did wish death upon her, or wish ill, or no, what? No." Like, well, I get your little tweet here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, that's just a hashtag thing.
Yeah,
That's just death to, and you put someone's name in.
It's like everyone's doing it right now. It's just one of those things you vent when you're upset about something. You say it, but it's not like you actually do anything about it. And so then Karen gets a call, and it's like the toxicology on the cake came back negative for anything. So she's clean.
The boys are thanks us for the cake because apparently they're eating it.
Yeah, she's like, and the cake was delicious.
Yes.
I guess when toxicology comes back negative, you're just like, that's free cake. Hey, $80 cake, it better go somewhere. So then we are back at the station. Or is there another conversation in between there on their drive home?
Are we back at the station?
I just wrote interesting laptop because I really like her laptop.
I don't know. I don't know what part you're referring to. So.
Oh, it's when Blue's just sitting there on, like, it's a couple of different times in the episode, but she's sitting at her desk just typing away on her laptop, and it literally is a regular keyboard, but then it's just a screen, and you can actually see through it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really cool.
Well, my next note is Tusk.
Yeah, that was right after his Tusk.
Yep, good old Tusk. Because people are not particularly thrilled with Tusk.
Yes. But, no, not at all. Once again, it's just the pretty much the guy who insulted a kid.
Pretty much. And it looks like they're leaving or packing up to go to somewhere. They're in like a car garage, loading up stuff, and give himself a little bump. Where apparently he's legal here.
Yeah. Because
that was the thing that happened real quick. It's like, oh, you want some of this? And then they see the cameras like, no, it's legal here. Like, it takes most of the fun out of it. And then very shortly right after that, Tusk starts grabbing at his head.
Yes. He's pretty much just screaming and just the guy runs over to try and help him. He's thrashing. He's just yelling about pain, and the guy kind of like holds him down and is just like, call for an ambulance.
So they of course get an ambulance, get good old Tusk to the hospital, and then they have him.
Well, first they sedate him, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah,
but
they definitely sedate him, and they have him prepped to go into an MRI. Good old MRI.
So he starts going in, he's waiting, and then they hit the button to actually do the scanning, and it's like whoop, whoop, and then
yeah.
Just you hear the beeping on the computer, just nice and steady, and then suddenly beep 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 beep. Yeah.
Yeah, so you see them get up and rush to him. You see the MRI pop up for just a second, showing a line through his head.
Yeah.
And then we go over, and he's got his eye sockets just bulged out. And
yeah. He's got blood. There's blood splattered just on his face. It's one of the people like looks up and kind of puts their hand in the MRI and like scratches the top because there's blood, just a tiny little patch of blood just stuck up there.
Yeah, a little dent, and then they pick up a little metal object off the bottom of the MRI.
Yes.
To which we look at and it's like, that looks really familiar. That metal bee.
So yes. So we have come to the conclusion that a bee just shot out of this guy's face.
Yeah, just shot out of it.
Bees! And then, to which I noted, are they being programmed to attack?
Not possible. Not possible.
No.
And then we get a very brief glimpse at Mr. Benedict Wong
Yes.
as Sean Lee.
I wrote Dr. Strange Monk.
Yep, that's who he is. We get a brief look at him looking at the body.
Yes.
Because, this metal thing ripping out through your skull killed good old Mr. Tusk.
Yeah. So it kind of flags, attention. This is strange. Something's going on. Let's call in the bigwigs.
Which he is definitely supposedly the big wig.
Yes.
And then we immediately cut over to Karen and Blue going to see the girl's body. Joe Power's body in the morgue.
Yes.
To which he goes to say, oh, I saw a little hole or something in the side of her head and went deeper and deeper and deeper, and he found a little bee.
So now we have 2 bees and 2 dead people.
So the logical conclusion after that, we need to go visit the place that the bees are made because something's wrong.
Yeah, I would say so. So I think right here, kind of. Did they actually go to the building first before we get, or is this day 3? I'm gonna say they had the note that said day 3 is when they actually went. Oh, okay.
I could not tell you that at all.
Oh, well, yes, day 3 is when they actually go to the place. So this is 3 days after the event. May 15th.
No, we're on the 3rd day.
Yeah.
We first meet, or they go in and see this floating symbol created by what looks like thousands and thousands of bees.
I don't know. It was cool though.
It looked cool.
But see, I couldn't tell if they were the actual bees or if they were just another type of floating bot, pretty much.
I assume they're the bees because that's what they do. That's their whole thing. So.
Waste of technology.
And then good old Vanessa Dale starts showing them where they need to go.
Didn't have that name at all.
Yeah.
Pick a random weird time to write down people's names.
Well, they said her name. She introduced herself. And I didn't remember how important she was or was not, so I wrote down her name. So she takes them to go see the head designer, who heads up the swarm. Now, his name is an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't even remember it.
Rasmus Sjubren. I spelled it and everything. If you can pronounce it better than me, because it's definitely very foreign.
No, unless it's so burn, because a lot of the whole JOs are silent.
I don't remember. I don't know.
You'd
have to remember it from the episode.
It's like Bjorn being spelled like Bjorn. So Bjorn.
So he's the head fella, Rasmus.
Yes. So we get the tour of everything, pretty much.
Yes, he starts explaining more about the bees and what they are and what they can do, and they ask about if they have cameras in, and it's like, no, they just have a sensor to sense where the flowers are.
Yes.
And they create hives. And the hives, of course, not for making honey, because they don't do that.
No.
But so they can reproduce, make more bees.
Yes, they replicate themselves.
Yes.
They build these hives on their own and replicate themselves, and then build hives other places.
Yeah.
Why is that a good idea?
Well, let's make sure that there's always more and they can do what they need to do. And overall, I think it makes sense. But
it makes sense in the point that they're supposed to be replacing actual bees for the whole pollination process. But sending technology out into the world that is autonomous and can just start, duplicating itself whenever it wants.
Nothing could ever go wrong. Okay?
We also learned that Blue somehow knows a lot about the bees.
She does. She does seem to know quite a bit about the bees.
Yeah.
Good old Karen starts asking about, hey, is it possible that anyone could control one of these or get access to one of these? And he goes on this long spiel about not really, but blah, 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 to which Karen responds, I don't know what he's saying, but it's not impossible.
No. It's military-grade technology or military-grade firewalls, and that you would need a controller encryption just to even get into any kind of, just anywhere near them. And she's like, that doesn't mean that it's, impossible.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying, but it's not impossible.
But before this, before the military grade, before the sensors, we learn, or they do tell them that, or that is when we do learn that the bees targeted the pain sensors in the brain. That the bees burrowed all the way through into the pain sensor on purpose.
Well, I don't think it... Yes, back at the morgue, I don't think it was intentional. They didn't try to go for the pain center. The goal was just to burrow into the brain, and it happened to go through the pain center.
Yes.
To, of course, going through the pain center of the brain, that would... No wonder she cut her own throat.
Yes, she pretty much, you would do anything to stop it.
Yes.
Yes. And we also learned that they're called ADIs, the autonomous drone insects.
I mentioned that earlier. ADIs. Because they say that in the news report at the very beginning of the episode.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. They didn't, of course, spell it out, the autonomous, whatever you said.
Autonomous drone insect.
Yes. But they do say ADI.
So yes, we've gone through all the military grades. This guy has puffed it up, and Karen's been pretty much just like, nah, it's possible. It happened.
The only way it could happen is if they spoof. Well, this one we learn more about when Blue seems to know a lot about these bees.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, how about you look up, they can track all the bees and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, how about you look up if there was one around here? And then Blue jumps in and does a little few things real quick. And we go to...
It's like, you can't be doing... Like, you shouldn't be able to do that. Well, she just did.
She just did. And we go to Joe Power's house, and they track the bees around that area. And you just see one go, and disappear.
Yes.
Ah!
And we find out that in order to do that, in order to have any control over them, you have to be about, 10 to 20 meters away from the thing.
Yes, that's what they claim. You have to be fairly close-ish, and you'd have to have a diagnostic controller, and that maybe they were spoofing a hive, how they made this work.
Yes. And then she's like, well, hey, can you get us more information on this? Can you tell us if there's any other ones that have disappeared? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. And then suddenly seems so focused and then just stops. And it's like, this would go faster if I didn't have an audience.
Yes. It becomes, maybe I shouldn't be cooperating so willingly with the police. Maybe I need to look into this on my own before giving information.
It was just really super awkward. Okay.
Because right now, your little drones are being used to kill people. Yeah.
So, Karen's like, okay, well, swap information with my little techie here. And that was another weird thing, is their weird little phone swap.
Yeah, they just place their phones on top of each other.
Like, he literally walked over to her and went like this. And I was just like, okay.
So, yes. Swap information, and we're going to need everybody's name who has had access or anything dealing with this. And Vanessa, the lady's like, well, there's some government people, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, you can put their name in a different font if that helps. I don't care who.
No.
I don't care if it's government employees. I don't care who it is. I need everyone's name.
Yes. To which... I believe what was it? Because the next thing I have is the Game of Consequences.
Well, we are definitely almost there, but there's a few other little notes. We get back to the office, to which she immediately starts saying, this is my case, and NCA better not get involved. This is mine. To immediately, oh yeah, this guy's here from NCA.
Yeah, Wong walks out and is like...
Oh, his name is Sean Lee.
Either way,
his name is Sean Lee.
I'm going to call him Wong.
Sean Lee of the National Crime Agency.
I don't care what title he has.
I'm just telling you. To which they go over talking about the whole thing, and it's almost like wishing someone dead.
Yes.
To which Blue immediately thinks, "Oh," and looks up the hashtag Death2.
Yes.
And then traces that and starts talking about how much it's being used, and then eventually goes, well, we go back to originally some bot Twitter things that originally was trying to get this hashtag out there, and then like, oh, look at this symbol or the avatar. Yeah. It's a bee. Go figure. And then we find the consequence thing.
Yes.
The Game of Consequence video that explains how this is supposed to work.
Yes. So pretty much it has steps, and the step 1 is to pretty much pick your person. Step 2 is to pretty much tweet the person with Death2 and a photo of that person. Mm-hmm. And then the person with the most votes
will die at the end of the day.
Yeah, will be eliminated. And then it starts all over again.
Yeah.
They have until, what, was it 5 p.m.?
I think it was 5 p.m.
Yeah, 5 p.m. the next day or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So very interesting. So they're like, all right, Blue, who has the most votes right now? And currently it is Claire, I don't remember her name, but her name is Clara, and she has 880 votes because of a picture of her going around of her pretending to piss on a monument.
Yes, it was like a veteran memorial kind of thing.
It's like, oh, great. You did a stupid picture, and now you're being condemned to death.
Yes. So they're like, yeah, it's time to find her. And she's like, well, Blue's like, can we do this? And he's like, well, then I'm going to. You're not supposed to have access to that. Well, she does.
Yeah, can we? Because it uses her GPS to locate where she's at. Well, she is Miss Tech.
Yes.
This is what she does.
I know.
Supposedly she's an extremely efficient tech person. And yeah, of course she's going to have a little more access than she's supposed to have.
So yes, they find out where she is, and they decide we are going to take her to a safe house. And we get into Wong's fancy little vehicle.
Yes, Wong's very, very fancy vehicle that is an SUV, but they have the seats facing in towards the middle, and then there's a nice giant iPad hologram thing in the center that they can touch, and the vehicle turns all the lights green all the way over there.
Yes.
Like, this is fancy. And of course, it's auto driving as well.
Yeah, you don't have to drive it. It can change traffic for you, and you can sit there and have your little meeting in the back and not worry about it.
Very fancy.
It's weird. And at this point, I can't remember he calls himself Batman.
I remember him mentioning Batman. Yeah. I don't remember what it was for.
They pretty much were just like mesmerized by his vehicle, and I think he just mentioned something about Batman, and it was great. He says it with a straight face. So.
Well, good old Wong. Good old Wong. But yes, of course, they're trying to call her, and she's not answering her phone, because that's always smart. So they end up calling her friend, who was like, yeah, someone's on the phone for you. And they're like, all right, we believe you're in danger. Close all the windows, and we'll be there soon. To which immediately we go to her looking out. Oh, the windows are open, and she's just looking at what's going on.
Well, when you think about it, okay. Here's the first thing, is that when we see her, she's literally, everybody knows that Joe Powers is dead. Everybody knows that Tusk is now dead. And so it's like, she is just sitting here upset because there's a whole bunch of just death wishes and people calling her names and just...
So let's do the one thing the police tell me not to do.
Well, no, it's not that. You had mentioned that her not answering her phone. It's like, no. Well, I'm sorry, if I have all of these death wishes and then a random number I don't know calling my phone, I'm not going to sit there and answer it either.
The police. Anyway, that doesn't even matter. It's just the whole window thing.
It didn't pop up as police, okay?
It's just the fact of the window thing.
Yes.
Close all the windows. You're in danger. Window propped open. You're like, what's going on? Yes. You're just asking that. You're just.
So they walk over to the windows. They see the police starting to form, just all around. And so suddenly she's like, close window, close window.
And then, of course, Karen and Blue, they come in. They're like, you got a bag, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take you to a safe house. And then they go down, get in the car, and you're like, all right, when is it going to get her? When is it going to get her? And they just start leaving.
Well, you start to follow the pattern of a bee. Like, first a bee lands on the window while they're inside the house. And then as they're going downstairs and everything, you're like, oh no, where's the bee now? Where's the bee now? And they just get into the vehicle and drive off. And you're like, where did the damn bee go? To which we find the bee.
We do find the bee. Because as soon as they arrive at the safe house,
which is just a random barn in the middle of nowhere, like just a cabin in the woods.
when they mention safe house, they don't mean an airtight bunker in the ground. They're just referring to a place they've kept witnesses and stuff.
I agree, but at the same time, you're dealing with someone who can control an object that is about big. You'd think you'd want something a little more secure than a barn.
Well, they also think that the person has to be fairly close.
This is true. So
they are secluded, and you would see if anyone got fairly close. So, yes, Mr. B is on the vehicle. Just tagged along.
So they're in the safe house. Karen's kind of showing her around and stuff like that. And
okay, well, on the way there, they end up getting a call from Roz, whatever his name was. Rasmus. Good old Rasmus. Saying that he has set a trap for whoever tries to do this next. His goal is, once they try to do something with the bees, he's going to try to trace the call.
Yeah.
Or trace, not the call, whatever.
The signal.
The signal. To which we found out very quickly, he can't trace the signal, and then thousands of the bees go offline.
Yeah, so it's like, I see what you're doing, and it pissed me off. So not only am I taking one of the bees, but just like they just start blinking out until entire sections are just gone.
Yes, and he loses everything. He loses the whole system is gone. He controls nothing at this point.
Yes, because how they show the map is it's a map with all these glowing gold dots, and then these dots all just start to disappear until widespread map is just black.
So he loses control of that.
And meanwhile, Wong is outside. I'm going to keep calling him Wong. It's stuck in my head now. He is outside on the phone, and all the ladies are inside the house.
Yes. They're shown around the place.
Yes.
And then Wong sees a swarm.
Well, the first thing that happened is a disconnect in the phone. Because in the Rasmus is trying to talk to them, and it starts getting glitchy because he tries to warn them that the signal is coming from very near them. That it is very near, they need to get out. And so her phone goes staticky. And then we have Wong outside, and his phone goes staticky.
And there's a whole bunch of bees.
Oh,
yeah. Oh.
And
which is the fakest looking part of the entire episode, is when the bees are behind him and they're coming at him.
Yeah.
Like, actually, this doesn't look very good. Everything else looks pretty solid, but this doesn't look very good.
And so he's doing the normal swat, running, and she gets a text finally from Rasmus that says, "You need to get out."
It's a little late.
Yeah.
A little late for that. The house is being swarmed by bees.
Yes. So they slam the door to the bedroom and Karen quickly thinks and starts shoving stuff underneath the door.
And then they start breaking into the window, to which they go into the bathroom, and they block the crevices at the door again.
Yes. And and we're like, okay, this isn't that bad, except we keep seeing a vent over next to her head, and you're like...
Well, you see that, and you also see the bee on the door, and they go into, like, the keyhole.
Yes.
Like, oh, the keyhole. And then she sees it, she blocks it. I'm like, it's going to eat their hand. It's going to eat their hand.
I was waiting. I was thinking bee, sting, stuff like that. Like, this is going to hurt. Why are you using your fingers? Use something else. And...
But yes, then, of course, the vent. And then a couple of them on the vent, and then they're in.
Yeah, and then, of course, they're trying to cover the vent with their hands again, and I'm like, your hands aren't doing anything. It's too late. You're all dead.
But not exactly.
Not exactly, yeah.
One just happens to get to its target.
Well, that's the weird, like she is literally, like, laying on the ground. They're trying to swat the bees from her. Like, she's, like, trying to just, like, control everything. And then you see one just kind of land on her face. And just, I don't know if it goes up her nose or in her mouth or something. But
I don't know. Doesn't really matter because it does get her and it does kill her.
Yeah. This one isn't a something else does it. This isn't a she kills herself to get away from the pain. This one literally kills her.
Yes, this one did kill her.
Yeah.
However it burrowed, whatever it did, it killed her. It looks like she has a seizure and she dies.
Yes. And the other bees just go very docile. They just start chilling.
Well, they achieved their target. They achieved exactly what they were trying to do.
So Karen is unharmed. Blue is unharmed. We find out Wong is unharmed. And...
Cool. And then we go back to the hearing.
Yes.
To where she says she's never seen anyone die up close like that before.
Yes, she'd seen bodies. She'd seen the aftermath of everything, but she literally hadn't watched someone die in front of her.
It says that good old Blue took it hard. Took it real hard.
She took it personal.
To which we go back to the police station and they're talking to Wong. Or... No, they're not talking to Wong because this is a different part. They must. They're talking to Home Dude. Roz, whatever his name is. So wherever he is or they are all at the same place, they're chatting with him because Blue goes, "How did they know how to find her? Where she was? Know to go for her specifically with Blue and Karen and the girl all in that room? How did they know to go for her?" Specifically. Yes. And, or maybe, I don't know. I think it was Wong.
It's Wong and Rasmus because what happens is they find out that the government was backing this entire project so that they could piggyback off it. And so they insert facial recognition into the programming, which wouldn't be needed for a bee. But the government they're like, oh, well, we could use it to catch criminals and stuff. It'd be pretty much
they made a fun little joke at the beginning saying, oh, people, there's conspiracies about the government using it to watch us.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, of course there is. That would make sense. And then you get later on, it's like, that's exactly what the government's doing.
Yes. They're piggybacking off these bees to catch criminals and just pretty much spy on everybody. And that's when Blue just loses it and just starts screaming at Wong.
Oh, yeah. And of course, like they always say, like everyone says about the TSA. Oh, they've stopped so many things. Yes. And it's like...
He's like, you know how many people we've caught, which we wouldn't have been able to without those bees and stuff like that.
Yes, but
it's like you've pretty much stolen everybody's privacy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Rasmus is like, Wong's like, you agreed to this. And he's like, I did not agree for people to be dying here.
No, he had to get funding for the project.
Yes.
Because the government's not just going to fund something that's going to save the world. I know, heaven forbid.
Ain't that the truth?
Exactly. So, Wong knew all this, but it was classified. But this is also stuff that's been, like, super useful to know.
Yeah. So that's when Blue snaps. So she's like, so pretty much information we could have used in the beginning of all this, you decided to keep to yourself.
So, and after this little spat, we move over to, the hashtag is now officially in the news. It is now made public news. It's out there. People know about it. Which, of course, means it's going to be so much more popular.
Yes, because you're going to have either the people that are like, oh my goodness, everybody needs to stop using it, blah, blah, blah. And then you're going to have the people that are like, I don't believe it. You know, this is going to be fun.
Or don't care and be like, nah, this is someone I do want to be dead.
Yes. You're going to have the levels of people where it's like the people who are literally going to use it, the people who think it should stop, and then the people who don't believe it, so they're going to use it anyways, just for science.
So, yeah. The last thing that was good is the news getting a hold of it, because it makes it more popular.
So, suddenly a huge spike in people that are hated just being targeted.
And the number one candidate for hashtag death to is the Chancellor.
Yes. Which we heard briefly about him at the beginning of the episode, but...
The good old Chancellor's number one. And he is not happy about this.
No.
Because we go to a little board meeting thing with Wong and the Chancellor and a bunch of other people.
He's like, shut it down. Shut everything down.
It's like, you want to shut the internet down? It's like, that's a bit much.
Social media, get rid of social media. Just get rid of it. And it's like, okay, so you want us to shut social media down?
I was like, I kind of think that would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's like, if we shut it down, you're guaranteed to be number one.
Yeah.
You're already number one. This isn't going to change. He's going to say, you know what? They shut the media down. I don't know what to do.
There's a chance someone could beat you in the next couple hours.
And then he immediately goes to, well, leaked a story about one of his competitors being a pedophile. It's like, what? It's like, oh, just so you're not on this hashtag thing, you're like, nope, let's just kill someone else.
Yeah, pretty much between him and someone else, he picked someone else. So definitely deserves. He's up there on that high ranking for a reason, and this might be part of it.
Yeah, you're telling me. So good old Wong says, oh, we can put you in a bunker, and then we're going to destroy the hives within a certain amount of radius.
Yes.
And then we kind of cut to some military people blowing up a hive.
Yes. Which at the time, because the first thing that happens is the Chancellor is like, oh, because taking someone to a safe house really went well for you last time.
Difference between a safe house and underground sealed bunker.
Yes. And then, he's such a dick. But, yeah. So then they blow up the hive, and they continue talking, and everything's going well, and then screaming starts happening.
Yep, because said bees did not like you blowing up the hive.
Like an actual bee.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, and they attack and presumably kill all the soldiers.
Yeah, I would assume so. Which is, I don't know how they would have been able to target, because he's been using facial recognition to use them.
Mm.
So I wonder, unless he just said all these people in this certain area.
I don't know.
Information we do not have.
Oh, I do not know. It was just the point of, yeah, we can't blow up the hives because we do that, it's going to kill everybody that's around.
Yep, to which he's like, shut the bees down. The Chancellor sees this and is like, that's it, just kill the program. Kill all the bees, just shut them down.
I was like, but the economical, whatever, the state of which they do would be horrible for the environment if we get rid of them.
He doesn't care.
Of course he doesn't care.
He's like, no, this is my life, we're done.
And of course there's also the fact that they can't. They don't have control of it, so they can't do anything with it. Oh, God. So we go back to the police station, to where Karen has been giving interviews, of course, of all the people who work there and blah, blah, blah. And the next person to come in is Tess Wallander.
Yes.
So she was shamed on social media a long time ago. So it's like, oh, she sounds like a good candidate. If someone was going to try to get revenge on people who shamed her because of...
Yeah.
What was it? Oh, she put on social media that some guy was hitting on her or groped her or something, and it came out that he was actually disabled.
Yeah.
So people shamed her for shaming this disabled guy.
At the same time that this is going on, Blue has been hacking into one of the dead bees.
Yes, she's trying to hack in and find out what's going on.
Yes. So she and Nick are following their own lead. They're pretty much... They've started digging into the files. She's gotten in, and she has found this thing. We don't really know yet. It's just she finds something at the same time that Karen is talking to.
Yep. So this lady talks about just kind of what happened, and then the good old Karen sees marks on her arms because she just attempted suicide because this has gotten just horrible.
Yeah.
And then he says, she had done it. She wasn't there for long before her flatmate found her. Garrett Scholes. And she's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Because she mentioned he also worked with her as well at the place. And then it's like,
So what position did he have? Oh.
Yeah, he was over working with the whole bee project thing.
Yeah. He had to do a lot with their programming and how they worked and...
Okay. Mm-hmm. So which the interview's over and she goes out and Blue and Nick are right there.
Yeah.
And they both come up with the same information.
Yes.
We hacked in the bee and there is a manifesto from Garrett Scholes.
This huge, pretty much almost like a novel, just a book on how the world is going bad and what can change.
Yes, and how people should be punished for the things they say on social media.
Yes.
Like, really?
That's pretty much, the game of consequences. Pretty much that people are going around using their words and not having any consequences to them. You can say whatever you want to a person in person, and that person has a chance to pretty much serve your consequences to you. But, if you're on social media, you can say whatever you want. Of course, it's not going to hurt you. You're just...
Yeah, which isn't the right way.
Yeah.
We can't be limited and be, you can't say this, and you can't say that, and you can't do this, and blah, blah, blah. Come on, people. But this is his whole thing. So, yeah, he doesn't like people who are mean on the internet.
Well, I would say yes, mean on the internet in a sense, but I don't know, some of these people are crazy.
Which, of course, you go to, if you don't like people who are mean on the internet, then why would you kill people who people are being mean to on the internet? It's like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. People are being mean to someone, you're killing this person they're being mean to. Why would you do that? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I don't think it just has to do with what they're saying, though.
It makes sense with the end of the episode. I was just throwing it out there. That was just throwing a little teaser out there. Just a little teaser.
Just go.
I know it doesn't. I know exactly.
Just go.
Anyway. And then we see, since they have Garrett's name and picture, Nick decides, maybe you know what, screw it. I will put Garrett's picture and death to Garrett Scholes.
He pretty much wants to bait the guy. He wants to get a reaction, see if maybe it causes Garrett to mess up.
To which, after some little looking through with Blue, she discovers, the picture he used for his manifesto has a GPS coordinates things in it. So we have where he's at.
To which, of course, SWAT and stuff shows up at the place, starts digging around.
Good old Garrett also gets a notification on his phone. You see, we actually cut to him finally as a person, and you just see Nick's little tweet about him. Death to Garrett Scholes. Which, of course, very clearly tells him, thanks for the heads up.
That was my thing about it. I was like, dude, you just let them know that they know who you are, and you should probably get out of the country if you're not out of the country already. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. I was like, Nick, you stupid idiot. Yeah, so the police raid his place, and they're looking around, and Blue finally finds a little area, I don't know what you would call it, little chimney, or little fireplace burning thing. The forge. Yeah, the forge. And there's a burnt phone up in there. And of course, she's Miss Tech Savvy, so she's like, we can make something work with this. So she takes it and, of course, does her thing.
She does her thing, and they think they've figured out something. They finally, okay. They have a way to get back into the hive, back in and take control of everything. And then you kind of get good old Karen over there being like, God, Karen he doesn't seem the type to mess up.
Pretty much what's going on is they're in front of the big control room at Rasmus Control Center, pretty much the ADI place. And he's working with Blue to get back into the system, and Karen's meanwhile in the back going, this doesn't seem right. There's something wrong. And then they open up a screen, and all of these numbers and names, or just letters and stuff, start appearing. And they're like, what are these? And so they're clicking and opening them. And these people are just, they don't know any of these people. So they're like, real quick, search the teacher.
Well, Rasmus finds a new line of code in his programming, and that's where this came from, this list of people, and then they look up the teacher, and the teacher's name is in this.
And so what they deduct from this is that this is a list of all the people who used the hashtag.
Yes, every person who have ever used the hashtag is in this list. But Rasmus also thinks, hey, I can get control of the bees now.
Yes.
I can do it.
It'll pretty much shut down everything and reset it, and everything will be fine again.
Yes.
And to which Wong's like, do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. It's like 3 minutes till 5. They're about to go after the Chancellor. Let's do it. And then Karen's like, this just doesn't...
She's like, wait. Just wait. What if he wanted us to find all this?
Yes, what if he wanted us to find everything? It's just, it doesn't seem right.
Yes. It's like pretty much like he seems like he'd be too smart to just mess up. What if he wanted to lead us to this point? And Wong's like, nope.
And Wong takes it upon himself, and only himself, to run the program despite what Karen is saying could be the danger.
So he just goes click, and
it's like, oh, okay, well, they have control. Good. And he's like, whew, someone had just had to do that.
Yeah,
and
it just had to be done.
Yeah, and then seconds later, the entire screen, just all the little green bee dots start turning to red bee dots, and
the entire map goes red. And you just see all the bees starting to pull out of their hives from everywhere, every corner of the earth. And you're like, oh, no.
Oh, no. I will say, I really, really liked the song they played right here.
Yes, I did too.
It was really cool.
Yes. It just added to it. And
It did. Because, every person that ran that hashtag, all 300 and something thousand of those people that ran that hashtag,
were being now targeted.
Targeted to die from the bees.
Yes. And to which we get bees starting to tap on the windows of the ADI place, because who's standing next to him? Good old Nick. Who
decided he needed to use the hashtag death too.
And they all know it, because they look at him and everybody just knows.
Yeah, so we see him, we see the teacher, and it's like super like, oh my God, I can't believe this episode went there.
Yes. Because when you think about it, even in the school, you see one bee land on the window, and then the kids are pointing, and the teacher just turns around, and the entire swarm is just starting to tap on the windows, just like at the little safe house. And just imagining that happening to every single person. Just
because they use the hashtag.
Yep. And remember, these are bees that can just go into their little hive and replicate themselves, so...
There's not much killing them. This goes back to the beginning about his manifesto. Or not the beginning, but a little bit further back about the manifesto. Yeah, he set up a fun little game to get noticed and get people to use the hashtag to see what type of people would be cruel. Who would be mean? Who would wish death upon someone on the internet?
Yes.
And yes, he had to kill a few innocent people, but he did that to bait everyone else.
Yes. To find the true villains, to find the ones that actually had it in their hearts to know this was going to hurt somebody and do it anyway.
Yes.
And
so they all died.
yes.
They all died.
Yes. And at the same time, you also turn it around. You think of it that way, that he just baited every single person out there. And on the police side, you have the lead investigator who chose everybody else over one little chancellor, possibly dying. Or probably dying.
Probably. That's not possible. Probably.
Probably dying and them getting a chance to find out more before the next person is up for killing. He just chose the entire list.
He did. So, as this cool music played and we got all this, you also go to Garrett, who goes into a bathroom and shaves his head and shaves his face and
Puts contacts in.
puts a contact in.
Oh, puts a... What? No?
I'm pretty sure it's one contact. It's like almost a white-blue contact in one eye to make it look like it's blind, I think, personally. And then put glasses on over that.
I don't know. I guess they only did hate... Weird. Just weird. But anyways.
Yes, so he looked drastically different, and he steps out onto like a beach area.
Yeah.
Which my thought goes to that is that, yeah, he hasn't been in the country this entire episode.
No, that the whole 10 to 20 meters things.
It's completely wrong. Everything was wrong. The place they found was wrong. It was all a trap. It was all baited.
To which we go back to the courtroom.
Yep, we're back to the courtroom.
And she's like, I pretty much, the judge is like, I know this is difficult, like, we appreciate all that you've done. You don't really have to explain what happened. We all know what happened. And then, but can you explain what's going on now? Or what happened shortly after that?
And it's like, well, Blue blamed herself.
Yeah.
She left the force 4 months later. And it goes into like, they found her things on a beach with a note.
Yes. To which they showed a beach with a pile of clothing and stuff on it and a note on top of it. And that's the last you see.
Yep.
So do you think she killed herself?
And she's like, that is the... She used interesting terminology here. It's like, that is the presumed...
Yes.
Something. I don't know. It wasn't a clear, yes, that's what we know happened. It was like, that is the presumed...
outcome or something, pretty much.
What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway. So, yeah. To which we go to Garrett at a bar, drinking. Karen leaving the courtroom. Sean Lee, Mr. Wong, is up next to testify or say stuff. Which, if there's anyone to blame for anything, if anyone had any right to kill themselves or think they should, it was that man.
No, he's still there. It's just part of his job.
Oh, yeah, part of his job that he made the biggest decision that killed 350,000 people.
Well, I'm sure that's why he was in court.
Yes, this has nothing to do with Karen. She did her job. And then Wong is the one who actually pushed the button that killed everyone.
He won't say that. But
Of course he won't say that.
But yeah, so we have him sitting in a bar, just drinking away. And then we kind of pan over to this really short-haired blonde chick.
Mm-hmm.
And she's has a phone or a book. I think she has a book or something open first, doesn't she?
I don't remember exactly.
Either way, but you can kind of see she's in the
Line of sight?
Yes, that's the words. Oh my goodness. So you can tell she's kind of watching this guy, and you're like, is this Blue?
And then we cut back to Karen for a second, and there's a text message.
Yeah.
And doesn't say who it's from. And I think it literally just says, I got him.
Yep. Yeah.
And we cut back to him.
Karen smiles like this was part of an entire big plan that they had. And because I want to say that the trial was on TV. It was on live TV. Because he's watching it while he's at the bar. And you see the courtroom and everything like that. So by her saying, hey, she committed suicide or presumably committed suicide, he thinks he's in the clear. He doesn't.
We probably thought that beforehand, but this just helps.
Yeah.
So yeah, it shows him leaving the bar, shows her following him, and then him walk around or down this hill around the side of this wall, and her follow along, and
that's the end.
That's the end. We get no definitive anything.
That's Black Mirror for you. We never have the answers. So we never know if we won. Just chuck your phone across the thing.
Button. But what a cool episode.
It really was. It had a nice spin to it that I liked.
Yes, it was a very cool plot, very good, cool characters. Blue was awesome. The whole. We didn't mention this during, but she, for a while there, kind of seems like she might be the one behind everything.
I have so many notes that I was like, is it Blue? Good with tech. Blue knows a lot about the bees. And then her awkward looks with Nick on occasion, or like, as I said, the weird phone thing where they just bumped information back from each other. I'm like, dude, like, are you in on this? Who's in on this? I'm getting confused here.
So they point suspicion in quite a few different ways, and then eventually just introduce a new character who is the person. Like, okay, yeah, I was thinking it was someone. And then, of course, the little plot, but the fake plot to actually get people. It's like, just a really cool episode. I enjoyed it. But if what do we do about the bees in general? I mean, this is really cool. It's based off of something that is currently happening to a degree.
And I mean, it sucks because they've gone through processes right now. Like, they're trying to, like, of course, mate bees and stuff like that. They're trying to, build the populations and stuff back up. But if we are not helping the actual root of the problem that's causing the bees to die out, creating more bees isn't going to do anything.
Well, the only issue is we don't really know what's causing the issue yet.
We are!
In some way, yes, but we don't know what.
That's it. We're wiping out the population. Thanos, where are you?
Good old Thanos. But yes, what a cool episode. Really, really cool episode. I very much enjoyed it. One of the better ones this season.
Yes, definitely.
But as a whole, I think this whole season, most of the season has been pretty excellent.
Yeah.
First episode was Nosedive. What a great episode.
Yes.
That was such a good episode. Next was Playtest.
I really liked it.
Which was good. I really enjoyed it. Shut Up and Dance.
Yes.
Dark, though. Dark. San Junipero, one of my still all-time favorite episodes of Black Mirror. The weakest episode was the last one we watched.
The Soldier.
Men on Fire.
Yeah.
I mean, Against Fire.
It
was fine.
It was a sci-fi.
That's all it was. It was just fine.
It was a generic straight-to-TV sci-fi movie.
Yes, it feels like it could have been on the Sci-Fi Channel. Been fine. So, not as good as the other ones. And then Hated in the Nation. Really, really good.
Yes, I agree.
So, next week will be Nope, not Black Mirror. Twilight Zone. It'll be episode 15 called... I think we talked about last week. Third from the Sun. With nuclear destruction looming, a pilot and a scientist plot to flee the planet in a stolen spaceship, but must first handle a rude official. What a strange plot!
A rude official. Why that word?
I don't know!
Things, why that? Why just a rude official?
It's so
not
weird.
Disgruntled, not, just furious, not anything like that. Just rude.
A rude official. That's so weird. I don't know. And then, but the next episode of Black Mirror, technically, we're not going to be in the season 4. We've kind of determined we're not going to be moving to season 4. We're going to take a break with Black Mirror, but first we're going to watch Bandersnatch. Finally, we're
Yeah,
going to do Bandersnatch.
We're behind on the times, guys. We know.
So we've been way behind that. It needed to happen. Thank God it's happening. So
Yes.
we're going to do Bandersnatch finally. So it'll be Twilight Zone, Bandersnatch. And then, like I said, we're not moving to season 4 till, oh God, when did I say it was going to be? A couple months.
April somewhere. I had my stuff's over there.
Yes. We won't pick up with Black Mirror again until June.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to do something different. I'd love to go ahead and finish season 4, but we're going to take a small break with Black Mirror. We're going to do 3 episodes of the Twilight Zone, and then we're going to lead straight into watching the new Twilight Zone that starts April 1st.
Yes. And we are going to be keeping up with it as it comes out.
Yes. So every single week when a new episode comes out, well, it
won't.
It's going to air on April 1st, to which April 2nd we'll have the first episode up. And then they're going to do the first 2 episodes to start with on April 1st. And then we'll have the episodes come out the 2nd and then the 9th. And then from then on, it's going to come on every Thursday.
Yes.
So it's weird how they're doing it. So every Thursday it'll come on, and then the following Tuesday we'll post the episode.
So we will be making sure to get our episodes out pretty much in time for you to watch. You two have watched that episode, but not before the new one comes out.
Yes, so we'll be doing it. It will come out a couple days after the episode airs,
have the
but
weekend.
before the next episode comes on. So if you like the show and everything, you like Twilight Zone, we're going to be going over every episode. I think they said it was going to be 10 episodes, and it's going to run through April and May. Yeah, April and May. So it'll take up all of April and all of May, and then we'll immediately jump back into Black Mirror after that. But
it's going to be interesting. This is going to be the first time that we've been following along with something new that's coming out as it comes out. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be harder for us because we'll be filming it and posting it on the same day.
Yes, that's going to be tricky.
Yes, it'll be a little tricky, but we're going to make it work. It's going to be fun. We're going to have fun with it. Hopefully everyone enjoys that. If you enjoy the show, leave some feedback. We'd really appreciate some feedback. If you'd like us to format the show a little bit different, if you actually like us going over the whole synopsis of the episode, whatever, leave some comments down below, some likes on the video.
If you literally are tired of seeing us and just want us to pop up for like 15 minutes or like 10 minutes and go, this episode was great.
Yes, if you wanted to be a short review, I guess it'd be very different what we're doing now. But hey, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. But as always, you can reach me at Stars Untraveled. Reach Amanda at KZPup. Reach the show at Beyond Our Focus on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, podcast services around the globe, and YouTube, which maybe you're watching here. Throw some comments down below. We'd appreciate that. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Let us know if you think we should change anything. Let us know how excited you are for the new Twilight Zone. I think it's going to be awesome. Like the video, subscribe to the channel because we'd really appreciate that. Still trying to work up to that 100. Kind of far away.
We really want our name.
I don't think Kit Kat watches this episode. These episodes.
Well, it's because he'd have to sit down and
actually watch it. So
he's tried. He said that he's watched a couple episodes of Black Mirror now, or at least 1 or 2. I know he said he watched Bandersnatch, so he'll probably at least watch that one.
There we go.
But no, he's driving all the time. So,
yeah. I understand. It's one of the episodes. He follows up very promptly on some of the other episodes, and it's like, okay, you're definitely listening to these, but not Breaking Prisms.
Well, it involves homework.
It does, which it is what it is. Anyway, anything else? Awesome possum. Till next time, long days and pleasant nights.